that's going to be as good as the other one. We'll find out in a second.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway,
Some very nice teeth marks, yeah.
I don't know if you can see it or not. It's
And for those of you, those
better on the other one.
Oh, okay.
I thought you could see it better on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. See the teeth in there?
Yeah. For those of guys who are wondering what this is Talman 3D, and that's Taulman, Talman 3D T glass or glaze.
There you go. You can throw it back in now.
Okay. So go back to. Excellent. All right.
Euler.
Yeah. It's not Euler, it's Euler. It's the pronunciation. Like that's how they pronounce his name. This was for mathematics. It was what you were talking about earlier.
Oh.
Yeah.
How about Laplace? Or Mr. Eigen?
Only if you're going to be transformed. There you go. Geez, that was actually a math joke. I know. Hildrick says, for international delivery, it would be good to know about the accessories before the printer ship. Okay.
Who's that?
You're right. Ingo.
In Austria?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, okay.
Because I can drop it off when I'm my next trip, or I can drop it off 4 weeks later on my next trip after that. I have 2 trips planned into Germany between now and Christmas. So we'll get you set up.
Yep.
I really want to Skype in with you and do a build at your convenience as well, because this will allow me to make sure I've got everything set up the way you need it, and we can discuss, because I'll have to tear yours apart, take it with me, and then reassemble it there in München. And that they're looking forward to that. We have a room dedicated. It'll be easy for both of us. So I think it's not too far out of your way. And but I would love to go through a preliminary build here, so you can say, yeah, bring it already.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking for. And I'll show you the toys and how we would use them, and you can figure out. I mean, we actually included in all the System 30s the tramming tool, and so that was one of the basic accessories. There'll be a few other questions about whether you would like to get some rolls of Kapton tape, or the plastic I already have with me, the ABS. But maybe you'd like us to bring you some Talman or something like that, and within the limits of my capability, i.e. luggage weight, which is quite considerable, we'll take care of you on that.
I've got a question for Hildrick. Hildrick, I'm not sure if this is as to what you're able to purchase inside of Austria, but are you able to get Aquanet in Austria?
Oh, hairspray.
Yeah.
It's okay because they have lacquers there.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At the Bauernmarkt, you can use any of the acrylic lacquers. Work quite well now. We're finding other people are giving us feedback on that, and that's the active ingredient in the hairspray.
Okay.
Go figure. I mean, no wonder it's so hard to get out of your hair.
It's basically you're putting plastic in your hair.
Kind
of nasty stuff. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, back in the '60s, that was some amazing hair jobs, but it felt like,
yeah.
It felt like ABS hair. That's what it felt like. Okay.
Let's see. Yeoman asks, so far, what was the largest build you guys did successfully?
You mean time-wise?
Good question.
I think I've run in a little over 3 hours so far.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try again on the 14-hour print starting tomorrow.
Yep.
So stay tuned. You can be sure we'll post the results of that.
Yep. Hildrick says, sounds great. What about scanning? Great question.
Scanning. The S word. The utter S word. I haven't touched the scanner in 3 weeks. I think that after this week we'll be back on it, making it a priority. But that's the reason we limited the scanners. You know what? I don't want to make any excuses. So I've told some of you guys what's going on. My son came to help us with the programming on the scanner specific.
Yep.
Things in his life didn't go the way he had hoped, and I think that right now he's definitely not where he can help us. But let's just say that's the reason why I've asked for you guys to remember him in your prayers. I don't even know. We're not allowed to have contact with him right now. So he's in the state of California, a guest of the state, and nobody will tell us anything. So that's the reason why we kind of ran to a grinding halt, and we're limited on resources. So if you feel like, as I've told the other backers, the other three scanner guys, if you feel like we have somehow, and we haven't, came through with the scanner up to this point, then I'm glad to refund that part, or I'm glad to give you something else, or if you hang tough, I promise you what we come up with will be every bit as good as the final printer that we've given you now. One of the reasons for partnering with the Vietnamese manufacturer is that they have an army of engineers available to help us take this to the next generation, and that's real important to be competitive. And being competitive is not the right word.
I would say
It's easy to imagine a product and see it, and then once you've built it first or second or third revision, you've learned a lot along the way. And that's, rather than push our first version, which by the way, when I was cleaning up, I stuck back in the garage today. We had all the parts laying around still. Rather than push that on you guys that were brave enough to back us, we've asked your patience, which you gave us, and we put our energy and our full resources to bring this up and up and up. So you're really getting like a second, almost a third generation machine as the first entree, as the first delivery. So again, a million thank yous to everybody. But at the same time, as an explanation, we envision now how the market is matured and how it's taking its place on the low end, the mid, and the high end printers. And so this is really a high end printer. The list price on this machine, loaded the way you see it, will be $7,000 US. So, and we have a group of people overseas that are lining up to buy these like hotcakes.
Yep.
So the idea is it's as a manufacturing center, kind of the way the big copiers are, the Xerox copiers. You think about that. Well, we can all go down here to Home Depot or an Office Depot and buy a $200 all-in-one office jet. HP makes them, and that's an amazing machine. But someone keeps throwing me the list prices. Okay, so the idea is that the market has kind of grown in what we have is a strategy to get people on the low end. If that's all they ever want, then at least they can understand how printing is done, and at the same time, as they grow, they can migrate painlessly because the software and the firmware is uniform all the way through the platform.
Yep.
And to us that makes sense, as well as your investment in heads, because the head technology really defines the scanner. I mean, not scanner, I'm reading off the page. It defines the printer.
Yep.
The head technology is the printer. And so we're really happy with the way things have been evolving. We're slow, but no news there. But the things that we imagine work are working. And so the idea we can print with two parts at the same time, the idea that we can change heads in a matter of seconds, the idea that we can swap materials. I mean, everyone has Skyped with me. I've changed a material with them, and I don't think anybody's been going like, "Oh, that's so slow." I mean, the response has been pretty uniform. Wow, that was quick. You know, I mean, you're 90 seconds between when I start taking the material out and I got the next material in and flowing out of the tip. Change the head. I had a problem with the head. No problem. Pop it out. Here comes another one. Yeah, it's 3 minutes to wait. You try and change any other printer just about, change the head and be printing 3 minutes later. I'm pretty sure the vast majority will have difficulty with that challenge. And so for us, that seems to be good. Switching materials, switching heads, that's what we try to do. That's where we're at. That said, the industrialization of a machine, the ability to be more reliable, more robust, impact resistant, that all comes back to the cost factor.
Safety minded.
So the idea that you can get a low-end system and learn, play with it, do something, and then migrate up to wherever level you want to be when you're whatever your future holds. That's where we're headed to. And I really think that next year is going to be just a lot of fun. A lot of tiger tail twisting action.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of fun, because I see two more significant areas starting to grow with the partnerships that we formed. So Let's see what we got here.
Hildrick asks, how many S words do we have? I think it would be more along the lines of how many S words have we used. Let's see.
You know what? We haven't used the wrong S word very often around here because I guess we didn't realize it was available.
Someone's got it patented. Somehow.
Yeah, someone's got it patented. I like that. I wonder if that is a real thing. You think that you could patent using the S word with a 3D printer? Because I'm pretty sure that's prior art. From what I've heard, it's prior art for sure. Oh, S word! I got to start my print over again. Oh, listen.
Yeah.
Did I tell everybody about the Les Music Skype call?
No, you did not. No, you did not.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, Les, thank you. So, was it Monday night or Tuesday night?
Yeah, I believe it was.
One of those nights.
Wow, I'm losing.
One night was Ken, one night was Les. Yeah, everything's a blur, but we're enjoying this. Okay, so
Tuesday or Wednesday.
we're doing a Skype call, and it's our fourth Skype call with Les. We were on his printer printing with ABS, which is what we try to do before we ship. So it's a big print. It's like 2 hours and 45 minutes, and we're an hour into it, hour and 15 minutes, and I'm looking at Hutch, and Hutch is looking at me, and I'm getting hungry. So we tell Les, hey, we're getting hungry. You want to just watch the printer print? We'll come back in a little while. And he goes, yeah, I could do that. Or you go, I'll go get some pizza or something. So while we're having dinner at the Thai restaurant, and yeah, John, you know which one we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Les is in his living room running his printer in our house.
Yep.
So what do you think about that? That's pretty cool. But now, that's just too good to be true. But what does Les say? Hey, I got TeamViewer on my phone. And we're like, no, you don't. Yeah, I got it on my phone. Show us. So what does he do? He punches in the code and puts up in front of the screen the printer running on his phone. He can start it. He can stop it. And we're like, finally, the dream comes true.
Yes.
Now, we tried Droid VNC locally over our 802.11 network over a year ago. Worked great.
Yeah.
Worked great.
Not
it was
a
the
problem.
first actual touchscreen operation of the printer that we did. But we had never been able to tie it into a phone because none of us had the right software to do a remote VNC so easily. So again, TeamViewer, which is free for personal use, and if you're running your personal printer, I call that personal use, really has some potential because they have it for Droid,
Mac,
and about 9 other
Linux.
platforms. It's amazing.
Linux, and
Yeah.
Windows.
Well, there's not many Linux phones out there, but the whole idea is you'll find this as you start printing longer. I know a lot of you aren't printing versions, and you've been printing, you know what we're talking about, but you start a build that's 4 or 5 hours long, you don't want to sit there. After about 5 minutes, you're going like, I've seen this movie before, I know how it ends. So then you say to the wife or the kids, come on, let's go do something, I'm printing. And you'd like to go out, and then while you're out, you're going, I wonder if the house has caught fire yet. Well, this way you can pull up the thing, at least say, put out fire, okay? Or pause, or you can hit kill job, and all of it's right there on your phone. So we thought that was a coming of age story. And we were very pleased to be a part of it.
So everyone's going to be getting the free version installed already on their system or their engine ready to go. Because we want to make sure that if you guys have any issues, that we can easily not only Skype into you guys, but also can take control of your printer by you letting us do that, so that we can help you out.
All you need is an internet connection that, and of course the access from your phone. But
yeah.
You know, we were going to use Crossloop, so I'm not going to say that that's a plus or a minus. I like Crossloop for some other things. I just felt like the TeamViewer was a clean implementation, and I was very impressed with the bandwidth that it went through. So far we've had really good results with it, and we're even going to pony up and buy a commercial license from Microsoft. So. Who knows? There's hope for those clowns yet. I mean, those hard-working souls up in Seattle yet. God bless them.
Yes. See, Hildrich says good accessories and heads can compensate for the scanner. Other companies are working on scanning to get it working, like you. You're working on the printing part of your product. So okay, they're working on it just like we're trying to get the printing working. And he also says I use it all the time for PC administration for TeamViewer if there is no useful SSH session like on Windows. That's awesome. What are you looking at?
Okay, I want to go back to the scanning for a second. We could have been done with the scanner. We had software that was off the shelf, but it wasn't reaching any kind of like the standard of performance that I wanted. We've got one mounted on the camera right here, on the printer. Here it is, right here. Mm-hmm. This is a Connect. This is the better version of it right here.
Yep.
From Asus. And then we went ahead and bought the another version of it.
ProSense.
PrimeSense. For PrimeSense. Okay. And what they advertised, what they show you on YouTube, and what actually happens when you open the box and start scanning, I'm telling you right now, is two completely different things. So there's no scale to this at this time, and it works and it doesn't work. You have to turn just at a certain rate and just a certain way in order to scan the object. And we have that. It plugs right in. To me, to send that to you would be an atrocity, and I'd rather just give you back your money than send that to you, because it doesn't meet the standards that we expect it to be at. If you scan this right here, then what you print should be very similar to this, don't you think? Not similar to a donut. And that was the problem we were having. So how do we solve that problem? Well, there are a few really great pieces of software out there. So what do you do when you're getting a point cloud? Because everything's dealing with point clouds. They just highlight these points all over the place, and pretty soon they start to look like a blob, and the blob starts to look like a person, and the person starts to look like me. That's nice, except for no one wants to look like that. I understand. But the idea is this. How do you scale that? So there's a really nice piece of software, open source, yes, I know, and it allows you to take two clouds and to scale one into the other one. Most of the work's already done. We have to take the cloud that you can get from PrimeSense or one of the other sensors or packages that's available through this, and it's literally the same chipset, it's just packaged differently, and merge these together so we can get a higher reliability scaling system. That's one. And two is there's still no substitute for a true rotary dual camera, dual color laser scanner for giving you high fidelity reproduction. Yep. And by doing that, we can now merge the 2-point clouds together using one as an absolute scale factor, because we know it's scale, because we turn on and off the grid that's on precise spacings. And that's just what's going on. So don't think that we don't have an awful lot of framework behind this. It's just that for the last 3-4 weeks, we haven't done anything because we can only fry so many chickens in the frying pan we've got. And it could be the rest of the world beats us to it, and that Sears is carrying scanners that are better than anything we'll ever do by Christmas. I can't tell you that. And if it is, then I failed there. But right now, that's the plan. The plan is simple. Printers printing, lots of people printing on printers, and then we'll come to you with scanner. Huldrych, if you want, I'll come to you a second or third time and install it myself. You're close enough to Garmisch, at least come by the snow and throw a snowball at somebody. So we'll work that out. Anyway, I hope that was clear. Let's go to the next one. Oh, they got it. TeamViewer.
Yeah, I think that's all the questions everyone has. So, so we're still preparing. If you guys are going to be in the Atlanta area this coming Saturday, which is going to be October the 26th, we will be at the Atlanta, at least one of us is going to be at the Atlanta Mini Maker Fair. which is going to be happening over at Georgia Tech, downtown. Yes, my old alma mater. And we went last year for the very first time, going to a maker fair, and we're going to be doing it again. So, oh yes.
Let me answer that. I want to see mine. Is LOL lots of luck or lots of laughs?
That's laughing out loud.
Oh, laughing out loud.
Yeah.
That's Davey Kuiper, right? E1J.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Eagle. We'll Skype in and build on yours this week, because I won't come without it. John, I don't know what's going on with the drop cam, but we've been burning in the printers here.
Yep.
Everybody's working at this location right now, and it didn't make sense to have them over there, because I've been trying to do the builds on the printers with the individuals during my Skype session, and so we're set up here. We could go and turn this off and go start this session again in about 5 minutes in the other room, and you can see them lined up. They're also lined up like 747s over here.
Yep.
Still. So, and you can see that you got the cable? You can see there's another system there, and another system there, and there's 3 more in the other room. So it's like a bad sci-fi movie. They're coming from everywhere.
Yep.
And that's why the drop cam isn't really functioning. Now, those units got a lot of burn-in time, in all fairness, so I haven't had any electronic failures and don't expect anything to come out of that, as long as I don't put the chips in the power supply. So, yeah, sorry, John.
It's much harder to put the magic smoke back in.
Yes,
after
once
it
you
comes
let it
out.
out.
That's right. Yeah. Yeoman asks, you said you have some people working on the software. How's that going?
I'm working on the software.
Yeah.
Maybe I misnomered it. Which software? Are you talking about the 3D scanner software or the basic printer software, the firmware upgrade? I'm the only one working on it. I'm not allowing anybody else to work on it right now, because it's 1 step forward and 2 steps backwards. And right now I'm the responsible individual, and I'm the one who's going to say yes or no. I will give the source code out to selected individuals to sign an NDA, and they are welcome to improve on the basic printing.
Yep.
But I cannot allow someone else in this food chain at this time, because it'll cripple everybody, and I can't do that. So, knock me off with a hitman, and then you can take over. Otherwise, that's the way it goes. And that's a terrible thing to say, but any of you who has tried to code in somebody else's code, no matter how brilliant they are, and maybe the more brilliant, the more difficult for me to step in their shoes, because I'm not as smart as they are. It's just puts us in an awkward position. So I just, and I've talked with Ken up in Canada, and I think he understands. Ken will be helping us with the 3D viewers and some other things. He's got an idea for a scanner that is, we believe, truly revolutionary. And so he'll give that a test, and he'll try it there. So let's see what the next question is.
Yeoman says the whole thing was about the software was the printer wouldn't accept Repetier, though info was...
Whoa, let me read that again.
Okay, it's the bottom part. In green. So.
Power cable and mount to be installed, or is it standard for the system? Look at the one above.
Oh, I know. I'm just going with this, and then we're going to jump back
Okay.
up. So, he's talking about the software. The printer won't accept Repetier, though info was in September that they will be somebody working on 100% HYREL software, or maybe it was slicing.
Okay.
That was
No. All along we've been modifying Repetier. Repetier, as it comes out of the box, won't run our printer. It cannot run our printer. It cannot keep up with the printer. Our printer goes to sleep waiting for the Repetier to perform. That said, I'm sure they're coming out with new versions, and I'm sure that they've done a lot of great things, and it will evolve as other pieces of software are doing. But we're using the viewer and some of the hooks into the slicing that they've done. They've done a pretty good job at that, and we actually intend to contact them again on my next trip and meet them face to face and talk to them about ways that we can help each other. I like the guys. I think they've done a great job. Just it didn't meet our needs entirely, which, they gave it away. What do you expect? So There you go on that part.
So
as far as
so-
for the slicing software, it is my intention to have someone work with us, or us to do it, as we have done on many occasions in the past, to make a GUI to open SCAD that actually opens several windows, so that you can draw the part more the way you do with a CAD package, using number wheels, seeing it interactively on the screen, and then automatically create the G-code and view it all at the same time. And to me, that makes sense because you get to see your design for printability. In the normal industry, we call it design for manufacturability. And so why you would do that is that it's too easy to design a part that when you go to print it, it's a bastardization of the actual part. The resolution of the filament that goes down is interfering when you try to interpolate its size, its geometry, and force a 0.5 millimeter or a 0.4 millimeter filament into a 0.67 millimeter wall. And so there are lots of tricks we can do, overflow and things like that, that are advanced techniques, but you need to do those interactively to get really good results. So let's see what's going on here. The way I look at it is 3D printing comes to two groups. One, the Star Trek group. You go up when you go to your mouse and you go, computer, make me a beer mug. And then it prints a beer mug.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's the one group. And those guys will actually be into the scan it and print it. In which case, you're going to get, we can play some algorithms in it, say, okay, round it off to these nearest integrals, and then you'll come up with a reasonable facsimile, and you're not going to end up with 10,000 walls, things like that. It'll be a 0.5 millimeter or 0.4 millimeter, and it'll be similar to what that is, and that's going to suit it. The other group are those of us that are using it as an engineering aid, as a rapid prototype, or as possibly a real production machine. Now in production, I don't care who you are. When you design a part, you think about the manufacturing process. When I design something to go on the mill, I don't machine 5,000 webs in my aluminum that are 35 square inches thinking that it'll stay put while I'm making the next cut. It just doesn't happen. So you have to follow guidelines of material handling. In this case, that's why we want to have something that takes the CAD package and integrates it into the manufacturing package. And now you've got yourself something where when you're done with the design and you click the print button, you know what you're going to get. It's going to be wonderful, and it will follow and deliver the mechanical properties that you expect it to give you. Not non-mechanical properties because there's a air gap or a seam or something else going on.
Yeah.
So
to which Alan asks, so is HYREL going to be closed source long run?
no. Well, that's not a fair question.
It's
not a fair question.
Yeah.
HYREL will never be closed source. The final open SCAD to the final part, I don't know. In my heart, I would love to leave that open. But the problem is that the part that interacts with the printing will be printer specific to our printer in the beginning. And how to make that as a larger, open, wonderful platform, that's a question. And the complexity of that is beyond the scope of my ability to discuss it intelligently. I see the complete food chain. How that would hook into all the different types of printers, that's a question mark. Someone's going to have to create a structure, an object definition, and a hook, a real interactive hook, so the two pieces of software can go back and forth. So, to give you an example, if I'm going to print, like say plasticine, then I want to go ahead and know that my parameters are this. I have such a wall thickness, such a layer thickness, such a distortion capability, such a stackability. What is my texture or my stiffness based on my z-axis? What kind of overhangs are viable? What kind of support materials are available? All these things are coming from the printer side and moving back to the design side. So I used to say I can design something that can never be made. And I used to work with guys who designed stuff that couldn't be made. Or if it could be made, it was like the space shuttle in expense. It wasn't a good thing.
Yeah.
So I think we all can appreciate that the practical approach to this makes sense. Greg was asking me the other day, he was talking about making a little box for somebody, just a little, like